Real Madrid's summer has felt less like a warm-up and more like an in-season crucible under Xabi Alonso, who has made one thing perfectly clear: reputation opens no doors here. Alonso's message is simple and unforgiving. Performance in training and on the pitch is the only currency that buys minutes. In a club used to names carrying weight, that shift has been seismic. Veterans who once relied on prestige now find themselves under daily scrutiny, while youngsters have been given a dizzying opportunity to rewrite their trajectories overnight. This isn't philosophical talk, it's practice ground reality, and it has already produced a story that crystallizes the coach's philosophy better than any press conference could. A highly touted young Brazilian who arrived on Madrid's radar carrying both hype and the club's investment has watched his immediate path into the first-team store after an untimely injury, creating an opening that a lesser-known academy prospect ruthlessly exploited. Gonzalo, one of those homegrown names who trains in the shadow of greats, stepped into the void and refused to leave it empty, converting minutes into momentum and momentum into trust. While Kylian Mbappé remains a fixed point in lineups, Gonzalo's rise has made him the natural offensive substitute, and that arrangement has pushed the injured Brazilian further down the pecking order. The reality for the Brazilian is stark. Arrival and potential are no longer guarantees. They are challenges to be met day after day on the grass. Alonso's Madrid treats every training session like a test, and the implications are enormous. A single strong session can vault an academy player into the conversation, while a lapse in form can bench even the most storied name. The immediate consequence is an energized meritocratic environment that rewards consistency and punishes complacency, but the broader consequence may reshape transfer narratives, squad planning, and the club's appetite for instant returns on big money signings. Florentino Perez and the hierarchy have long balanced prestige signings with youth development, and Alonso's stance forces that balance to be renegotiated in public and in practice. For the injured Brazilian, the path back is both simple and brutal. Rehabilitate, readapt to European rhythms, and prove repeatedly that the promise is more than potential. That task is complicated by the calendar, the level of competition within the squad, and the psychological burden of watching another player claim the space you were meant to occupy. Yet youth is a double-edged sword. It brings patience, but also a shrinking window to capitalize on first impressions. Gonzalo Garcia's ascent is not a one-off anecdote, but a signal. It tells academy players that readiness trumps pedigree, and that the club's internal ladder is moment to moment, not lifetime guaranteed. Fans have reacted with a mixture of nervy excitement and anxious curiosity, aware that Alonso's methods might unearth the next household name, or that they could stall the careers of those who need long-term nurturing. From a tactical perspective, Alonso's insistence on competition sharpens the squad. Attackers must fight for positions, the front line becomes more adaptable, and match-day selections are driven by form rather than headline. But fluidity can be a strategic advantage in a long season if managed with clarity and compassion. It can also create unrest if players feel they are judged harshly without room to grow. For the Brazilian at the centre of this story, every recovery session and every minute in practice will be scrutinised not just by coaches, but by a global audience that follows Madrid's every move. His comeback must show not only fitness but an ability to translate raw talent into the specific demands Alonso requires: tactical awareness, relentless work rate, and the consistency to perform in a system that will not shelter a misfit. Ultimately, Xabi Alonso's philosophy at Real Madrid is a test for a club that has often been defined by brilliance and expectation. Can the institution balance its hunger for immediate success with a merit-based process that allows talent to bloom on its own schedule? The coming weeks and months will answer that question, and they will do so in training grounds, not headlines. One thing is clear: in this new Madrid, nobody is above the audition, and every minute, whether taken by a homegrown kid or an exported prodigy, must be earned.